What's going on, Miss K?
Another day.
Another dime. I know what you mean, brother. Oh man, Dr. Campbell, you there? Think you got it muted. Check that out. Anyway, good evening, everybody. Welcome to episode 33 at the Roundtable Talk. I am your host, Christopher Unk Jones. And tonight, we are definitely going to touch in on some of these ballot propositions here in the state of Texas. And we're going to try to drive those propositions in a manner to where you could understand them even at your own house. The topic for the show today is ballots and blueprints. 17 moves ahead of the people. That's what we're going to talk about today. Again, welcome back to the Roundtable Talk Show. I'm your host, Christopher Unk Jones, and tonight we're tearing the mask completely off the ballot. And so, with that, it looks like 17 constitutional amendments. Um, Currently, especially if you paying attention to early voting here in the state of Texas, they're currently sitting in front of Texans right now. Some individuals are still holding off, waiting to see what others have to say about these ballot propositions. And so I definitely want um, my co-host and our listeners and viewers to know what's actually going on. So, 17 chances to hardcore control into the state constitution while folks are busy working, not just working, working two jobs and keeping the lights on, keeping folks fed, trying to make sure their children stay in school, or go to school. They call it relief, they call it reform, they call it protection. And of course, I call it a playbook. So here's how we're moving tonight in this particular episode for you all. We'll read the ballot language so you'll hear exactly what you'll see in the booth, translated into plain language or plain people's English so you could understand it, and name who benefits, who pays, and I tell you straight up from my research, my engagement, not only here in Beaumont, Texas, but in other Texas spaces as well. Um, I'm telling you right now, my call is no, all the way down the line, 17 times. No, and I'll show you why. We identify the conflict, of course, call out the cause, warn the consequences, and of course, deliver the cures. So let's work. Let's get to work. My crew my crew is definitely at the table. I'm never at this table alone. I have with me Dr. Catherine Campbell. Say good evening to the people, please, ma'am.
Good evening, everybody.
Yes, indeed. That is the sharp as a subpoena, slicing the fine print. They hope you won't read. That's Dr. Campbell. She's gonna spit it for you on this evening. I got my big brother Perry Busby. Say good evening to the people, please, sir.
Good evening. Good evening.
Absolutely. That is the voice of our receipts machine. That's what we call it him. If the money moved, he got it, he tracked it, he know where it went. I promise you, that's the brother right there. I also have my battle buddy on with me, Dustin Harris. Say hello to the people, brother.
Oh, what up?
Absolutely. That's the make it plain brother right there. If policy sounds like mush, he'll definitely whip it up, feed a wholesome meal to your grandmother. She'll be ready to share with everybody else. I promise that's the voice right there. So let's roll. Let's get it. Y'all ready? Man, I'm telling y'all, segment one is definitely the blueprint. The blueprint exposed. 17 propositions, one power play, what the ballot says versus what it does. And the format for each is we'll tell you what the ballot says, plain English, likely effects, who benefits, who pays, and then, of course, my call. And I might even ask my co-hosts to weigh in on each one of them. Let me know what they would call as far as a measure, whether it's a yes or a no, a response to this ballot or these ballot propositions. So we're gonna jump right into the propositions first, and then we'll move on. Proposition one is SJR 59, which is the TSTC Capital Funds, which is Texas State College, oh, I'm sorry, Texas State Technical College Capital Funds. The ballot says create the Permanent Technical Institution Infrastructure Fund and the available Workforce Education Fund to support capital needs for the Texas State Technical College system. All them air quotes, all that. Plain English is two pots of state managed money for the state for Texas State College, technical college buildings, equipments, land, and even debt services, right? But no athletics, no auxiliary projects, no none of that, none of that. um Likely effects locks in state level control over how Texas state technical colleges expand. Local communities, HBCUs, A&Ms, other universities, communities, local communities get the bill indirectly, while contracts flow to chosen builders and vendors. Again, like I said, who benefits is construction firms, equipment sellers, and whichever campus gets priority, right? This is not a blanketed throughout all. Taxpayers is definitely going to fund it. Lean in because I'm going to say it again. Taxpayers, you are definitely going to pay it. Um, Students in towns that take whatever they're given. Again, HBCUs, other community colleges, Institute of Technologies. Those are not included. Your A&M is not included. Texas A&M is not included. UT is probably included, but then again, it's not considered a technical college. So, according to the words in this proposition, UT won't even get no money. How about that? So again, my call is no. If it's a priority pass, transparent appropriations with campus level guardrails, community, and oversight, not a permanent constitutional pipeline, you're not gonna get one off on me. Anybody else want to weigh in on proposition one?
I do.
Go ahead, quick.
You know what? I'm gonna take my shot without you even pouring it up. I'm gonna pour it myself here. Yeah. Propositions one and two pose the biggest threats to local control by locking in permanent state level funding and tax bans that bypass local oversight, framed as investments and growth. Here's how
Mm,
they operate. Technical College Infrastructure Fund. What does that mean? It creates, just like you said, two constitutionally dedicated funds for Texas State Technical Colleges, seated with $850 million. Why
mm-hmm,
it's a
mm-hmm.
threat? These funds sit outside the state treasury, appropriations process, and the spending cap, meaning they're permanent, unaccountable, and untouchable without another constitutional amendment. Okay?
Yes.
So hold on to your hat. The
Dustin.
language used is workforce education or capital needs or economic development. But here's the hidden impact: local communities lose say over how and where funds are spent. It centralizes control in Austin while appearing pro education. Okay. Proposition two, even though you haven't gotten there yet, or you want me to wait till you get there?
Let me get there. Let me get there.
All
Let me
right,
get
go
there.
ahead. And then I'll
Proposition
weigh in on
two.
that one too.
Absolutely, that's what I'm expecting. Proposition two, which is your SJR, um, which is also Senate Judiciary Resolve 18, ban on capital gains tax. The ballot says prohibit taxing realized or unrealized gains, capital gains of individuals, families, estates, or trusts. The plain English is permanently shield investment profits every from ever being taxed from every billionaire, not you. We don't get that. I don't have that kind of money, so like, yeah, we ain't got that kind of money. Likely effects: this will slam the door on future progress revenue options when schools, hospitals, and infrastructure needs cash. So they're gonna be strapped for cash. They're already strapped for cash. If you're paying attention, you'll notice that there are rural hospitals closing right now today. So who benefits? Who pays? Wealthy holders will win on this one. Wealthy people. And um services that help working families are gonna starve. But this is what I've been entrenched with over the weekend. um Even some of the richest people I know in my network here in the state of Texas is saying no. So we are I know I am on this particular podcast. I'm gonna say no because I'm and the reason I'm gonna say no is because I'm asking you to do not tie your kids future to a billionaire's wish list. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Dr. Campbell, go ahead.
And the billionaires don't even want it. You just said that. So, also too, I want to
The,
say this
the
about Proposition
billionaires don't
One.
even want it.
Right. So back on Proposition One, I want to say this that in our area in District 22, we don't even have those type of technical training places yet. And so but they said it will help down the line for refineries, but if they want their people to go to that type of school, they can fund that type of school for them. So now back to on to Proposition Two, it'll ban it puts a ban on capital gains tax. And so what
Hmm.
it does is it permanently bans any future tax on capital gains, even unrealized ones. Why it's a
Hmm.
threat? It strips future legislatures and local governments of tools to respond to economic shifts or
Hmm.
fund public services. You just said that. Okay, the language used is tax friendly state investment protection. Like it's good for you. The
Right.
hidden impact is it locks in a regressive tax structure favoring wealth accumulation while localities scramble to fund basic needs. The bottom
Hmm.
line, these amendments weaponize growth rhetoric to entrench centralized power and fiscal rigidity, leaving local governments with fewer tools and less autonomy.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially your
Mhm.
local municipal governments. They're gonna
That's
be
it.
lacking. I'm trying to tell y'all, they're going to be lacking. Proposition three, which is Senate Judiciary number five, resolve number five, which is the mandatory bail denial. Lean in if you could. The ballot says require denying bail under certain circumstances for people accused of specific felonies, right? Well, the plain English says allows prosecutors to push no bail rulings for a long list of crimes using lowered evidentiary thresholds. So almost it doesn't matter what evidence you got. We're gonna throw the book at you. Likely effects this will cause is it swells pretrial, um, especially in the jails. You could expect overcrowding, uh, even more just on the pretrial side, right? It punishes the accused before the trial even starts. How about that? You're guilty before you even are arrested or charged. It expands prosecutorial leverage. I'm telling y'all, they are really coming for us in the state of Texas. And if these propositions pass, they're gonna get it. Public safety talking point, mass detention results. Mass detention results. Mm, okay, I ain't have to say it no more. Who benefits and who pays? Of course, private jail vendors and those alleged tough on crime career benefits. Families that lose jobs, housing, and custody while waiting is the one who pays. Yeah, yeah. My call for this particular proposition is no. Safety matters, but due process is a right, not a headline. And you're not going to take my due process because you want to fill the private prisons and get your kickbacks. No. Proposition 4. Anybody, well, I'm sorry. Anybody wanted to weigh in on Proposition 3?
I'll weigh in and do mine since Dr. Cat uh want to give her hot.
That's what's up.
But one of the things that's most misleading about this, and this is not unique to Texas,
Mm-hmm.
we see a lot of um Republican led states uh taking on these same measures. I mean, you got Missouri who did it in 2023, uh, basing it off of a suspect's ability, a suspect being a flight risk and a danger to others. And then in also Indiana did it last year. But what they also found to be most misleading about it is when they write these measures, they use they use the most offensive acts, a sexual attack, human trafficking, the most egregious, which no one would deny those offenses. But as you
Yeah.
said, what they have found hidden in the measure was what others meant. And others can include a wide range of offenses, including some layer offenses. What
Mm-hmm.
this does is it takes authority out of the prosecutor's hands as well
Mm-hmm.
as defense attorneys. And so you have prosecutors and defense attorneys who are both coming out saying no, that should still be left in hands of both sides of the law to argue that, not for the judge to decide. And so
Right.
you see that as another power grab. And as you said, I mean, as they've said, one of the uh, contributing factors is that when you have people who are denied bail, they found that uh, in 9 out of 10 cases, that person is found guilty primarily because of that fact that they have been in jail and the preponderance of guilt that the defendant carries into the courtroom.
Right.
Yeah. So it has a long list of issues that we really should be concerned about
I
across the
totally
board.
agree. I totally agree. I totally agree. And that's again, that's one of the things that I was approached with or was enlightened to over this past weekend. So you're absolutely correct. Um, Proposition 4, which is your House Judiciary Resolve Sales Tax to Water Fund. Ballot says dedicate a portion of state sales use taxes to the Texas Water Fund and allow allocations. Can be suspended in a disaster. That's what the ballot says. The plain English uh, or interpretation, it carves out sales tax revenue off the top and hands it to a water board bucket. um, Lawmakers can pause. So they just put these monies wherever they want and hit pause. There's no expenditures coming out of that at all, regardless. Likely effects is permanent earmarked without permanent equity rules. Rural bills can rise. I will say that. Private water deals will flourish, especially if you're industry and you're selling your water back to municipalities. Especially if you're industry and you can desalinate the water to send back to municipalities. I told y'all this was coming. But y'all kept saying, "Oh, we don't know what you're talking about." Now you have to know what I'm talking about. Who benefits? Who pays? Of course, big water developers is going to benefit. We, of course, as the ratepayers, are going to pay. And I don't know if y'all been paying attention to Texas water, but we hitting a drought almost every year. Even coastal cities, even Gulf Coast cities are threatening droughts every year. So yeah, even with your drought, you still gonna pay. My call for this particular proposition again is no. Fund water transparency with affordable mandates and local veto power. I said local veto power. Yeah. Anybody want to weigh in on Prop 4? Moving to Prop 5, which is your House Judiciary Resolve 99. Exempt retail animal feed. Now, I bet y'all like, what? Why is that even on the ballot? Let me tell you what the ballot says. It authorized exemption from property tax for animal feed held for retail sale. So if you got a farm and you're doing hay and corn and all that for retail sale, let me go in. A new curve ball that they want to throw out in this particular proposition is carving out good for farm supply chains inventory taxes. At least that sounds good for those that that pay attention to that. But who benefits are corporate ag retails. That's it. Not you. Not your mom and pop's farm, not the ranch that was given to you. No, not y'all. Mm-mm. No. Corporate ag retail wins. Everyone else pays with thinner local budgets. I don't know if y'all paying attention, but my city already. Never mind. We're not even talking about that today. My call on this proposition again is no. Stop nickel and diming the tax base for lobby pits. Stop nickel and diming and hustling us to appease the few that you done attracted over here from wherever you attracted them from. Apparently, we didn't have this issue before. We was paying them before, but now you got corporate agriculture here. Hello, China. Hello, Japan. Hello, all these other places that my governor went to over the past few years to uh, acquisition them to come here. Nah. Proposition 6. This is your House Judiciary Resolve number 4. No tax on security markets transactions. The ballot says this bans occupation tax on security markets, operators, and tax on certain security transactions. The plain English is Wall Street style transactions get constitutional protection from future state taxes. So those Wall Street bigots are not going to get taxed by the Texans at all because they got a pundit in the Likely effects is a free pass for finance while Main Street picks up the slack. We're already picking up the slack. If y'all remember, Texas is in a surplus. Who benefits? Who pays? Brokerages and large fund benefits. Public system lose flexibility. My call on this one is a flat out no, no explanation needed. Period. Anybody want to weigh in on Prop 6?
Well, I
Prop
want to say there's no direct impact locally for future, but it does reduce, like you said, it does reduce flexibility for future state revenue that could help with flood relief or education. Not because there's no more FEMA, right?
and there's no more education.
And no more education, Department of Education, right? Not.
So it's gonna hit Main Street. It may trickle, but it's gonna hit. And for those rural cities or almost absent cities here in the state of Texas, y'all be mindful. Be mindful. And again, go to the poll and vote no on Prop 6. Proposition 7 is your House Judiciary Reform Resolve 133, surviving spouse veteran exemption. And I know y'all like, oh, this is a yes for you, huh, Chris? We'll get to it. The ballot says allow school tax homestead exemption for surviving spouses of veterans who died of presumptive service connected conditions. Presumptive service connection conditions. So you didn't die from a heart attack, you didn't die from a stroke, you didn't die from high blood pressure, you didn't die from a seizure. You died, you had to have died from something, or your loved one, your veteran loved one had to have died from his or her service connected disability, period. And the plain English of that says property tax help for a narrow deserving group, very narrow deserving group. And I hope y'all heard me say the deserving group, your service connected death. It's so many veterans that aren't terminally ill. I don't know if y'all know, but if a veteran kill himself, the life insurance policy is that. Let's move on. Compassionate, but shift school funding gaps elsewhere
Whoa,
instead of
whoa, whoa,
fixing the
whoa.
formula.
Let me talk about that veteran one.
I let you get it. I let you get it. Go ahead, brother.
It's you basically gonna have to become a lawyer for those things. So what you got to do is basically you take out a diagram of your body, whatever you have claimed, you basically have to draw a line from that injury back to whatever killed you. So you have to teach your spouses what's wrong with you, how it's connected, and what it affects elsewhere on your body. So say you have a bad knee. Bad knee messes with your back. Back messes with your hips. Hips, you can get high blood pressure and a bunch of other things from trying to work with it. So you have to be able to put all those things out there. And easy way to do it, type it into Chat GBT. They'll teach you a whole little doctor way of saying it. Because if you try to explain it in your ways, they'll take that you said a word wrong and deny you. So just go ahead and put it. Just put how would a doctor explain this? Easy fix for you.
Man,
Get your letters of medical necessity along the way with every ailment.
Oh, they'll throw
absolutely.
those out too, though.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Who benefits, who pays? Surviving spouses benefit. But this distracts renters from getting the from getting the short end. You know what I'm saying? Like if you are a renter and you are a surviving spouse, most of the time they're not paying rent, they paying mortgage. I don't mean to laugh. I don't mean to laugh. I just want y'all to know that many veteran households are not in Proposition 7. My call with respect to families of service. all service members? No. This is definitely a no. Because if you are a veteran from California and you come with your home of record is California and you die in Texas, you receive a home of record veteran born here in the state of Texas's benefits. You receive that. And again, are they going to scrutinize your medical as much as they're going to scrutinize Texas, a home of record Texas veteran? I think not. I think not. So, home of record veterans, Texas, home of record veterans. If your home of record is Texas, we're talking to you, not those that migrated here. This proposition is not for you. Don't let them hoodwink you. You already get service benefits through the VA. Don't let them shift your money. Don't let them shift your money. Proposition 8, um, which is your House Judiciary Resolve number 2, ban state, estate, inheritance, and gift taxes. Y'all already know that they ain't talking about y'all. Ballot says prohibit future state taxes on estates, inheritance, or gifts with carve outs for some existing taxes. Plain English, this locks in dynasty protection. Likely effects wealth consolidation accelerates, generational inequities deepen. Who benefits, who pays? Heirs with lobbyist benefits. Public goods loses. My call on this proposition is a no. No explanations needed. Anybody want to weigh in on Proposition 8?
Proposition 8, there's no short-term impact, but like 2 and 6, it could tie the state's hands for future revenue options.
That it
So,
does. That it does. And it excludes you from what you're supposed to be getting. If somebody say, I want to give this to mine, especially if somebody is giving property and they don't take no money, they are going to be penalized for it.
that's right.
Say for instance, you have your mother who is yet alive or your father who is yet alive. They are owner deed holders of property and they gift you that property. Do you not know that your parents will be penalized? Okay, I'm just letting y'all know. So that's again a no. Proposition
Also,
9, which is
too,
house.
oh,
Go ahead,
I'm
Queen.
sorry.
Go
Also,
ahead. No.
too, the wealthier people, when they uh pass their fortune down to their children, then their
Hmm.
children won't pay any taxes on it, and then there goes, they're in is your school funding, your public school funding.
Right.
So it's going to defund that fund as well.
Right. Or a hospital
Our hospitals,
or a
yes.
fire truck for your
Our
volunteer
our our,
firefighters.
our SNAP benefits,
Well, you
all of
know
that.
that's gonna get cut anyway come next month.
Anyway, yes, yes. Stop.
Proposition 9, which is your House Judiciary Resolve number 1. This business personal property taxes exemption. The ballot says let the legislator exempt up to $125,000 of tangible personal property used for income. Plain English, this cuts business inventory equipment tax. Likely effects, big player structure around it. Local um, small businesses, they're going to lose revenue. Renters get no relief at all. Who benefits, who pays? Larger firms benefit, like I just said, big corporations. Who gonna pay? Cities, rural towns like ours, schools, and you know, I would say some other services that's gonna increase on your municipal side is gonna pay for it as well. Um, my call for this one is no. Target real small business relief grants, not constitutional Swiss cheese. If you want me as a small business person to see my benefit in Proposition 9, and again, I am a small business corporation and I don't see myself in it, you want me to vote for it? You want me to tell my friends to vote? No. People that are in larger corporations bigger than mine are saying no. So Texas follows suit. We are voting no on Proposition 9. Proposition 10 is your Senate Judiciary Resolve number 84. I'm sorry, did anybody want to weigh in on number 9? Proposition 10, SJR 84. Temp exemption for homes destroyed by fire. Y'all heard us say we don't have FEMA no more, right? I don't mean to laugh. Ooh. And as you know, USAID is gone too. I really don't. Oh, I really do not. I'm trying to laugh to keep from cussing. So the the ballot says authorize a temporary property tax exemption on homestead improvements completely destroyed by fire. Improvements. Y'all got that word? Improvements. That's not your whole house. So short term, plain language is short term tax break if your house burns down. Short term. Likely effects it helps a few, doesn't rebuild communities, and shifts costs elsewhere. But again, y'all, if the state is saying this is a need, where's our insurance companies going? Where's our insurance money going? Y'all better dig deep. Who benefits? Who pays? Individual victims get a pause on paying something. They get a pause, probably taxes. I don't see them getting no money though. Again, because USAID is not available, as well as FEMA is not available anymore. Those funds, we don't even know where they went.
I just want to know how you improve something that's completely burnt by fire. So you gonna pay me a broom to sweep the sticks up? I'm confused about that.
They gon' now they gonna pay you for the response of your fire department coming out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that
Yeah,
sounds about
yeah,
right.
yeah. Instead of you having to pay it out of your pocket for your fire department coming out, they'll just give you like a pause. You don't have to pay it right now. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But that's what it is, though. For real. I'm serious. That's what it is. Again, individual victims get a pause. Systems lose stable funding. Again, whatever nonprofit organization you had that was helping you, like Red Cross, uh, Catholic Check, they not getting no more money. Y'all might as well close them doors. Um, Especially under these propositions that's coming through the state of Texas. My call for this proposition is no, a hard pass, no. Pass statutory disaster relief with rebuild money, not systems or sympathy. We don't. Oh, my prayers are with you because I done paid. What you mean? Yeah. So, anybody want to weigh in on Prop 10? Anybody else want to weigh in on Prop 10?
I just want to know how Prop 10 gonna help anybody when they had all the fires in California that burned up everybody's house. The insurance company knew the fires was coming and canceled everybody's plans. So how exactly is this improvement? Are you gonna give me the money earlier so I can get a sprinkler system put in to try to protect my house? Well, I'm just trying to figure out how this proposition gonna help me when the insurance company themselves are illegally canceling people insurance plans.
And that's just over fire. Could you imagine if we flood again or if we freeze again?
Hmm.
Or if you were like Florida, where insurance companies have left, and now the only insurance that most homeowners can get is through the state.
You see
Which if
it.
there,
I'm
which
glad
if
you
there's
said
a natural
it.
disaster, which if there's a natural disaster, taxpayers in Florida are worried like hell because they would be on the hook for insurance policies that they don't have the money to cover because the state had to start taking on homeowners because there was a provision that said if if rates were so high that the state that you could get a lower rate through the state, and everybody started getting that home getting home insurance through the state. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's a
In
house
the
of
back
cards.
chat, uh, a house of the same card.
Yeah,
Um, in the back chat, Dr. Campbell said they want you to pitch a 10 on the ashes, but you can't because you remember we doing away with homeless folks. You about to go to jail. Golly, golly. Oh man, I just ask that people pay attention to their ballots. Um, Proposition 11. Proposition 11 is your Senate Judiciary Resolve number 85. This boosts 65 plus and disabled school tax exemption. The ballot says increase school tax homestead exemption for elderly and disabled from $10,000 to $60,000. Plain English is a bigger break for seniors and disabled on school taxes. Likely effects are good intent baked in school shortfalls unless the state backfills. And y'all already know the state ain't backfilling nothing. They just mandated that every school do this and do that, plus have the commandments, but they ain't give them no money for it. Which we know that the state of Texas don't do that already. So, they ain't gonna backfill nothing. They ain't gonna backfill a BB. Who benefits, who pays? Seniors benefits, of course, and the disabled benefit, of course. But students, staff, and renters pay either right now or later on. And if you're not disabled, um, you're gonna get a nice little abatement, but it's have y'all paid attention to the cost of living? Services here in my city, I know for sure is going up. They just proposed a blanketed line for for some seniors and disabled individuals here in the city of Beaumont, but most of us is on fixed incomes. Again, we do have a government shutdown and not expecting a cost of living increase at all during this administration, and there's no telling when this administration is going to end. So, for Proposition 10, no. I'm going to say it no. Until honest, automatic state backfill is guaranteed by law, we're going to continue to say no. Anyone want to weigh in on Proposition 11? Proposition 12 is your Senate Judiciary Resolve number 27. This rewrite Judicial Conduct Commission. Ballot says restructure the state's Commission on Judicial Conduct, expand punishments, and change review procedures. Plain English is this politicizes the judge policy policing board. Governor and the Supreme Court pick more players and rules. I'm gonna tell y'all who picked those people again. The governor and our state Supreme Court. Keep that in mind. Likely effects this will definitely tilt discipline towards political power, not public protection at all. Who benefits, who pays? Politicians with cases before judges benefit. We, who's fighting for judicial independence or even judicial access, are going to suffer. My call for this Proposition 12, is no. Vote no all the way, no. Anyone want to weigh in on Prop 12?
Um, I I got another question. I thought the little I don't really remember if they elephants or donkeys, but I thought the Republican Party didn't like government being involved in everyday tasks and stuff. Sound like they've given more requirements for the government to be bothering people and whatnot. So I thought they wanted little government, not big brother watching over. Sound like more big brother than getting away from government control. But maybe just me. But maybe one of the donkey elephant people can explain it better. But I don't get it.
Oh, you're absolutely correct, bro. I mean, like the donkey elephant people, they allege, well, especially the elephant people, they claim to be conservative. They claim to be less government, more for the people, less regulations, more for this. So I'm you're absolutely correct. I mean, we're looking at a hostile government takeover on the national level and the state level here in the state of Texas. That's what it is. Especially when they tell you that they're coming for the judges or what the judges judge on. Oh, I didn't like the way you ruled in that. We're gonna come back over it with the Supreme Court and the governor. Make that make sense. And you have a criminal as a secret as an attorney general. I don't know, y'all. Likely affects tilt pipeline toward political power, not public protection. Again, this is definitely a no for Prop 12. Prop 13. This is your Senate Judiciary Resolve number 2. This raised schools homestead tax exemption to 140,000. Ballot says increase homestead tax, school tax exemption from 100,000 to $140,000. Plain English, bigger homestead break again with the same unfunded promise risk. Likely affects immediate relief headlines. That's what the headline's gonna say. But in the long run, it's going to definitely be school district squeeze. It's going to be a squeeze on school districts for sure because school districts are, recipients of your homestead or your property taxes. And that's just some of their funding. Some funding comes from the state. Some funding used to come from the federal government. But y'all know that that's not happening anymore because the government is shut down. So, who benefits? Homeowners benefits for now. Students and renters are going to pay later. So, I just want y'all to know your future is dim so here in the state of Texas. Um, my call on this proposition is no. Without automatic audits and state backfields, we're gonna still say no, no. Anybody want to weigh in on Proposition 13? Yep, yep. Dr. Campbell said another defund public schools. Yes, defund public schools. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. That's how you get the money into these private institutions and pay for these vouchers that they pass. That's how you have to do it. Hmm. Um, Proposition 14. This is your Senate Judiciary Resolve number 3. This calls for $3 billion in Dementia Neuro Institute. They call it DPRIT. The ballot says create a Dementia Prevention and Research Institute, transfer $3 billion from the general revenue, the state's general revenue. Plain English. I'm just saying. I mean, like y'all, are y'all not aware of how many universities we have that do? Never mind. Plain English, new biomedical agency with a giant pot of money and grant making power. That's it. Big grants, likely effects are big grants to large institutions, patent again, privatized from other universities. Little community care though, very little community care, if any at all, especially in rural cities. um, who benefits? Who pays? Research complexes, and of course, big pharma. You know, big pharma. Their pipeline is definitely going to benefit, but we as the taxpayers, we're gonna fund it. We're gonna fund this as the taxpayers. So yeah, my call for this proposition is no. And I'm not against research, but I am against blank check bureaucracy. I am 100% against that. Anybody want to weigh in on Prop 14?
I just know where they not gonna build it and who not gonna have access to it.
Tell the people, man.
Uh, the non-rich, you know what they gonna make it? Probably, what let me guess, a private hospital, which mean they could deny coverage to whoever they feel at the time. Sounds about right.
You hit the nail on the head. Boom. Nice drive, bro. Nice drive. Um, Proposition 15. This is your Senate Judiciary Resolve 34. Parental rights amendments. Yeah, they coming for you in your house too. They coming for you in your house too. The ballot says affirm parents as primary decision makers for their children. Aren't you already? I'm gonna read it again. This says that the ballot affirms parents as primary decision makers for their children. Plain English, vague, litigation magnet, language that can be weaponized to strip protections from vulnerable families, kids, and public schools. I promise you, that's how it's coming.
Case in
That's how
point,
it's coming.
Florida, and yeah, case in point, Florida, and books being banned. This
Mm-hmm.
this started as a parental right. It really started during COVID, which led to now you get a small sect of disgruntled parents
Mm.
who are aggrieved, now railing against a school district who's ill equipped to fight those kind of battles.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty soon you have books now. I mean, which really evolves into a uh uh dummying down of your children.
Correct. Yeah, and that's just part of it.
Yeah,
Man, likely effects, culture war lawsuits, teachers chilled or prisoned, and services delayed. Who benefits, who pays? Ideological outfits benefit. Just like Perry mentioned, those oligarchs that's in your government that don't want you to learn the truth, they're going to benefit. Families needing help to pay in chaos, they're going to fall. They're going to fall. I promise. My call for this proposition is flat out no, no explanation needed. Proposition 16, Senate Judiciary number 37, only citizens vote. Y'all hear that? Y'all hear the rhetoric that comes in this ballot proposition? Only citizens vote. Ballot
That
says
is
Claire.
that's all
Go ahead.
that's already a law, isn't it?
A state constitution that is definitely already
So
existing
why we
in
have to
our
vote on
state
that again?
constitution
Isn't that like double
because they
jeopardy or
want us
something?
to believe. No, not in this particular case. They want us to believe that there are others who are not citizens of Texas and or citizens of the United States of America that are voting in our elections. And if you pay any close attention to anyone that did the um, election results to find out any validity to immigrants or non-citizens voting in Texas elections, there is 0.025%. Yeah, but you're right, Dr. Campbell. That's already on our in our Constitution where only Texans can vote in Texas elections. But the ballot says clarify that a voter must be a United States citizen. So how are you going to clarify that? We already got to go to the poll with our ID. We already have to almost have a second form of identification. Your voter registration card that they mail to you, that alone is not going to allow you to vote. So you got to go in that with that and your ID. If you have a passport, you probably can get it. If you have any government issued identification, you could probably go vote. But again, this proposition says that you got too many people that are not United States citizens voting in your election. That's the theory that they want you to believe. Plain English says it's already the law. Dr. Campbell pulled it out. This is political theater to justify stricter ID purge regimes. That's what it's for. That's what this is for. To keep you, minority, majority communities from voting in masses. The attorneys general told you that they had to redo some things and move some people around in order to get 45, 47 in the White House. So the likely effects is more hurdles for neutralized citizens or naturalized citizens. We we're indigenous here. Um, but again, this covers for purges. This is a cover for voter roll purges. What we already also identified, especially through communication to Dr. Campbell, the warrant roundups during early voting and election day. They hitting you harder, even the more, because they know that you have in your mind and you're building the generations after you that your vote does not matter. And if they're coming at your, if they're coming for your stuff like this, your vote more than matters. It's scary for them. Who benefits? Who pays? Suspension, um, suppression of voters. Voter suppression architect is who wins. That's who benefit. Those that don't want uh Texas to turn purple or blue, that's who wins. Those that don't want you to vote in your district or or be represented by someone from your district, they redrawing you all the way out. Who benefits? Who pays? Again, suppression architects benefit. New Americans pay. Um, My call for this proposition, which is Proposition 16, is a flat out no, no explanation needed. Proposition 17 is House Judiciary Reform or Resolve 34. This calls for border county tax breaks for security buildouts. The ballot says the legislator exempt property value increases from border security infrastructure in counties along Mexico. That ain't got nothing to do with y'all. As an individual who live in a county along the Mexico American border. Just so happened here in the state of Texas. Plain English is they will reward private wall, razor wire bills with tax favors. Legislative denies security. That's what's going to happen. Period. Um, Likely effects militarized land, skewed budgets, very little safety gain. But you're gonna always be worrying about who coming over or who they say coming over. That's what they want you to do. Be worried. Who benefit? Who pays? Contractors, landowners in the program benefit. Residents and services pay. Your water, your lights, your gas, all those things, your trash, your popos, your fire department, your ambulance, your EMS, those pay. My call for this proposition is a flat out no, no explanation needed. So I did have some shots, but my co-host and pulled up their own shot. Um, so I have my shot left. um, let's see. The question is, when this is coordinated from Texas to DC, what does the real resistance look like before and after election day? Um, I will say everybody read together, not alone. Um, Vote together, not alone. Document everything, everything you see. If the lady had slippers on, I want to know the colors. If it was a political persuasion, I want to know it was on her shirt. If she had a button or a tag or whatever, let me know. I want to see it. Anybody that's there in those polling locations, I want to see it. Let us see it. Yep. We want to know everything, the donors, votes, contracts, and publish it like a neighborhood weather report. Before election day, we educate. After election day, we litigate and organize. I told you I love my friend named Sue. And if I figure you took a piece of my liberty, I'ma sue you. That's plain and silent. Plain and silent. We answer in surround sound. We move as a unit. As you saw this past weekend, a lot of people moved in a unit and got things, some attention. And some, of course, cooners got attention, the much needed attention that they needed too. Uh, so yeah. Anybody else wanted to respond to their power shot? I'll read it for you if you want. Oh, you want another shot? Our flashpoint for this particular segment is when they call it reform, do you hear help or hustle? Um, Put one in the chat for help, put two in the chat for hustle, or put three in the chat for both and tell us what city you in. Tell us why you feel like that and what city you in. I'm gonna put this in the chat right fast. Um, our Know Your Rights. Know Your Rights says you can bring notes and a marked sample ballot into the booth. You can do that. I don't care how many people be like, oh, there is sample ballots they was giving out, marked sample ballots. I don't care. It's not illegal. Request full text and fiscal notes from your county elections office. Her name is Roxanne. Y'all can go to her. Request full text and fiscal notes from our county election office. I promise. If poll workers interfere with voter education outside of the 100-foot line, report, record, and file a complaint the same daggum day. Don't let them think they're getting off from nothing. You hear me? The roundtable question for this particular segment is if constitutional amendments are now the tool of control, how do we as community build a statewide voter education chain fast enough to beat the propaganda machine? Dr. Campbell, you have the floor.
So, to educate and mobilize fast enough to rewrite the machine, we fight constitutional capture with constitutional clarity. Okay, just like you just said, record, record, record. So
Mm-hmm.
we expose the language games first. We got to decode investment, growth, and freedom when they're used to mass power grabs. We
Right.
localize the stakes. We show how these amendments strip cities and counties of tools to govern, then name who benefits. We build rapid response coalitions. We use churches, unions, neighborhood groups, any trusted network to spread plain language breakdowns fast. We
Mm-hmm.
reclaim the amendment process. Don't just play defense, draft people powered amendments that restore local authority and democratic checks. The
Exactly.
con-
Exactly.
right. We write our own amendments, right?
Right.
The Constitution isn't sacred if it's rigged. It's a battlefield. Time to fight like it.
Period. And you
Period.
better fight like this your last one. Dustin, you have the table. I mean, you have the floor.
Excuse me. I think we just got to start talking about the boring stuff. I know people, oh, I don't like talking about politics. We don't care. You have to talk about the boring stuff that comes with living in America because it's become more and more everyday life now. So
Hmm.
you can no longer say, I don't really get into politics because whether you walking down the street or living in a cave, trust me, somebody gonna show up at your door or your rock, let's roll in front of your cave to bring up some political stuff they want done. So you might as well go and educate yourself and have family discussions about said politics.
I agree. I agree, especially when individuals come to the realization of what politics really is, right? Um, I don't know. Tony, if you are aware, I think Perry may be backstage. You could check that for us, please, sir. Um, but my response to the roundtable question is make every church hall, every barber shop, every union hall, and every living room a ballot classroom. Teach the ballot everywhere you go. If the individual, just like Dustin said, if the individual say I don't engage in politics, you make it known to them that the air they breathe is political. The water they drink is political. The toilet they flush is political. The street they drive on is political. So you're engaging in politics and they're using your disengagement from government or governing politics or policies against you. That's what's happening. That's why the state of Texas on September 1st passed 700 plus, 800 plus new laws. Because again, we continue to say that we do not engage in politics. We do not engage in politics. Oh, I'm not political. I'm not political. I'm not. I don't know nothing about politics. But just like I said on the last show, the moment I cut your check, you're gonna become political. I promise. The moment I turn your lights off, you're gonna become political. When you find out that your child has no more school to go to, and you got to quit your job in order to keep your household safe, and you not go to jail for child endangerment, again, all of that is politics that you say you don't play. I just want you to know all you need is 10 neighbors. Each teach 10 more. Truth moves faster than TV, I promise. And if you do it in a way that is engaging to not only the young, but the old, I promise it'll do something that many people on social media are striving for daily. Something to go viral. You must make these things go viral because we see that the um 4547 has came for your media, so you're not gonna get the truth from there. I'm just saying. Segment number two, the ripple effect. What they don't tell you when policy outruns the people. Um, Pass this package and watch the dominoes. I promise they gonna all fall. Relief for one group becomes cuts for classrooms. Water money without fairness becomes higher bills and privatized taps. Parental rights become lawsuits against a school's nurse. only citizens vote becomes cover for purges. This isn't random, y'all. It's an architecture that the state of Texas is definitely imposing on even the unborn. Once it's in the Constitution, undoing it takes years. We got to come back to this same process to remove these same propositions or out of the Constitution. It- I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Y'all ready for y'all shots?
Yep.
Awesome, awesome. Dustin, being that Dr. Campbell went first on her shot in the last segment, spell
No, I
out.
took it.
Yeah, yeah, my bad. She took her shot. She threw it back without authorization. Oh man, spell out the first three hits a regular household will feel in 2026 if most of these propositions in the state of Texas pass.
Oh, let's see. Well, your tax is gonna get you're not gonna like that check. You're not gonna like what your check look like. You're gonna be like, who is this new person? Cause we figured out who, FICA and all these random folks covered out your check. You figured out who they was over time. You're gonna start seeing some new ones pop up. And you're like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, why they getting a cut of my money?
Mm.
That gonna go on. You're gonna see a bunch of foolishness down by the coast because all they doing is repaying rich people for that land they took to build that wall that still ain't complete. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And they painting it black, so you got to pay for some black paint too. So
and a 6-year-old has successfully climbed it. All right, but
a 6-year-old.
yeah, prove they
Wait,
can
a
climb
six year
over it.
old migrant or a 6-year-old American?
6-year-old American.
That's what I thought. I wanted you to clarify.
Yeah, because they wanted to
Um,
prove that people could climb over it. But just things like that. Foolery, taxes, and just in case you stay in a rural area, them trips to the hospital or doctor are gonna be longer. That's what's gonna happen. Because they are not gonna keep funding these rural hospitals. They're gonna just fund
hmm
the big boys and then they're gonna move on from there.
Facts. Facts. Might even pass away on the way to a bigger hospital. Um, Golly. Dr. Campbell, you ready for your shot?
Ready.
If you could name the hidden cost families won't see until it's too late.
Okay, so there are invisible costs that are slow, corrosive, and hard to reverse. And we're going to start with education.
Hmm.
Funds locked into narrow pipelines means less flexibility for local schools. Communities lose the power to adapt to changing needs or invest in holistic learning. Infrastructure is another one.
Mm,
Permanent earmarks and tax bans shrink future budgets. Roads, water systems, and public transit degrade while private projects flourish. Mm. And equity, capital gains bans and centralized funds entrench wealth gaps.
mm-hmm.
Local governments lose tools to redistribute resources or respond to crises. And by the time the people feel it, the system will say, too late, it's constitutional.
Facts. Facts. It's too late, y'all. You slept on that one. And that's one of the things I definitely don't want us to be hit with. Oh, you
Exactly.
slept on that. You slept on that.
So if it's
Um,
your mission not to get involved, you need to because it's going to touch your house whether you like it or not.
Facts. Facts. Um, Man. My power shot is, how do we fight policy fatigue? People are tired, broke, and overloaded. How do we fight it? We definitely have to fight it in small wins, but fast. We got to do it fast because as many of us that aren't paying attention to politics or policies that's being passed before us, they already, like, again, like I said in the beginning, or even the show eludes, they're 17 steps ahead of us. So, you know, um, I think like neighborhood tech would win, um, if we teaching it, right? Young, old, old, young. Um, Teaching some of the thing, the measures that we know. Neighborhood teachings could definitely help. Sample ballot Sundays, or uh, we do pew to polls, ride to vote. Um, People just passing by the polls, giving people political insight. In groups. Um, I don't know. Make learning social again and special again. Make it intriguing again, right? Especially like Dustin said, most folks say that this is boring. Politics is boring, and they want you to believe that. That's why they put it in a language that to some is boring, so that you will not be engaged. I don't have nothing to do with that. They're gonna do what they want to do anyway because they put it in the word for you to vote on it. And then you give them the exact same thing you just said, the access to do what they want to do anyway. So I mean, when fear comes in, that's when we start to sway. But when folks feel traction, they find energy. And I think um breaking these ballot propositions down is some traction so that we could, go to the polls on November 4th and vote 17 no's. And then maybe even add five more no's if you live here in the city of Beaumont. Um, yeah. The flashpoint for you, chat, is, are these measures written for people or for profiteers? Put one in the chat for people, put a two in the chat for profits, put a three in the chat for it depends, and tell us why. Why it depends. What it depends on. And I ain't talking about the Pampers either. Know your rights. Counties must publish fiscal analysis before election day. Ask for them. Again, I'm gonna say, um, Roxanne is your elected for that particular office here in Jefferson County. You can request it. You can request recordings, minutes of public hearings, and amendments. You could also request that from the state because in order to get to these propositions, they went through these negotiations. We want to know. We want to know how they came up to it. Nonpartisan voter education is protected speech. Host a session anywhere outside the 100-foot line. You could even have a bullhorn, long as you're turned away from the actual polling location. Roundtable question. Um, if silence keeps the laws alive, how do we make knowledge louder than propaganda before the last day of early voting? Dr. Campbell, you have the floor.
Break the silence with relentless clarity.
Mm.
Translate the ballot. Turn legalese into plain language and flood it through the churches, barbershops, and group chats.
Hmm.
Name the stakes. Show how each amendment shifts power, who gains, who loses, and how it hits home. And use trusted messengers. Local voices beat distant ads. Equip pastors, teachers, and organizers with sharp, shareable facts. Create noise with purpose. Flyers, forums, TikToks, yard signs. Every tool becomes a megaphone when truth is the message.
Yes.
Propaganda, propaganda thrives in confusion. Our weapon is precision. Use it loud, use it now.
Totally agree, Dr. Campbell. And you hit that on the man, you hit that at the park. Dustin, you at the floor.
Well, it's 2025, and most people have social media accounts. So let's act like it's 2025. You know, accounts like Fanbase, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, even a little thing I found called Blue Sky. Still don't really know what it is, but it's a social media account. And guess what?
Yeah.
If enough people make videos about a subject, eventually more people will start making those same videos because it'll become trendy.
Hmm.
And who knew education could be trendy? Weird how that works. But hey, give it a shot.
I agree. What do you say? Who knew? Oh man. Oh man. Um, I agree though. I mean, like we definitely have to do something different, right? I mean, they are in a grander scheme they are. So, you know, pretty much like y'all said, repetition beats deception any day. Bring it back before them every time. You know, the wheels on the bus go round and round. That's how we learn that. We heard it almost every day. It went in our ear almost every day. And so, you know, repetition beats deception. Especially like when we flood the group chats and pulpits and porches with the same clear breakdowns. You can't refute that after a while. I don't care who you are, pastor, preacher, teacher. I don't care. Um, you know, it's clear and it's in your face. I think if we push truth until it becomes habit, individuals who are silently behind our, in secret spaces that are trying to elude the general public from the truth. I mean, those individuals will tell that individual, hey, you didn't hear what he said about maybe like 2 weeks ago. I got a friend of mine. They start to challenge not only the individual's idea or the government's ideas, but they start to infuse themselves on how they become affected by those things, right? And so, you know, j- just push truth until they be like, well, I can't, there's nothing we can say in Beaumont because they already got the truth. They know the truth, ins and outs of the truth. They support the truth. They teach the truth to their unborn or the young or and the elders. Everybody's on the same truth. So, you know, that's where we at on that. Segment three, the people's move. Title for this particular segment is Stay Woke Texas. You heard me. Stay woke, Texas. In every sense of the word. Even if you come to Urban Dictionary and you want to find out the meaning for us is as African Americans, Negroes, Black folks, we know what woke mean. Y'all come into the know of woke that don't know. So stay woke, Texas. From awareness to organized resistance. Low turnout is their favorite voter. I promise. Low turnout is their favorite voter. They enjoy when low turnout comes to the polls. They enjoy when the results show that low turnout cast six ballots out of 66,000 people. They love when low voter turnout. I promise. But we flip that by turning every block into a precinct and every precinct into a classroom. This isn't red or blue issues. This isn't red versus blue. This isn't Republican versus Democrat. This isn't conservative versus liberal. This is none of that. Independent, none of that. Your political affiliations don't freaking matter, nor do your pocket. But I will say it's power versus people. 100%. And if we continue to allow them to take our people power, then the people can't win. But if we reverse it, the people will win. And if we act like owners, we'll win as winners, not spectators. Let's get our shots in, y'all. Dr. Campbell, what does real civic awakening look like when nobody trusts either party?
Mm.
Like me.
Real civic awakening isn't about parties, it's about power.
Hmm.
People stop asking who's in office and start asking who's making the rules. They read the fine print, not just the headlines. They show up to City Hall, not just the polls. They build coalitions across race, class, and zip codes, not just hashtags. They treat the Constitution like a tool, not a monument. Its neighbors becoming watchdogs, is silence turning into strategy. That's how trust gets replaced by truth.
I totally agree. Bing, bang, pop, pop, pop. Dustin, you ready for your shot? If Texas is the testing ground, how do we make it the turning point for other states watching us?
We make it a turning point by making them regret even starting this game. What does the wealthy folks that run this country hate more than losing money? When the poor
Paying
people
people.
gain, when the poor people gain the money. So it's time to get some researching on. Pull out them laptops, pull out them smartphones. Let's get some research and take advantage of every government handout that they handed to these rich folks. Because if they can get it, you can get it.
You can
Look
get
at
it too.
all the loopholes to avoid these taxes. Look at
Yeah,
all the handouts they put out there for people to go ahead and get them some
yeah.
and make them regret ever starting this game in Texas.
Start building
That's
land and family trust and hide that money, huh?
Hmm.
facts. Facts. Doesn't say play in their face just as much as they playing in yours. I heard you. You could flip you could flip the script. You could definitely flip the script. Dr. Campbell already told us write your own propositions and bring them to your party chair, your state chair. You bring them to your state and you tell them, hey, these are our propositions for this particular district. Bring them to your district representative. Stop playing out here like we all govern under the same state rules and we not. I promise you, your county got rules, and so do your city. Hello, but let Texas tell it they coming for your. I'm telling y'all, they coming for your home rule. It's all over. It's all over. My shot is, what does freedom look like once folks finally understand the blueprint, and how do we protect it? I mean, freedom looks like I'm gonna get a nosebleed. We might get in a nice little scuffle. It might be a verbal scuffle. I might bite you. My grandmother told me if somebody big enough, pick up a stick and hit them. That's what my grandmother said. But we try not to wrestle against flesh and blood. But freedom looks like literacy with teeth, y'all. People who can read. Not so we're clearly not talking about 45, 47. But people who can read the law and bite back. That's who we talking to, y'all. If you can read the law and bite back, We protect it by writing our own agendas, running our own sales or slates of elected officials. Uh, building our own commerce and auditing everything, everything. If you told me you gonna call me back and you didn't call me back, that's on my audit list, bruh. If you told me the best way to reach you is by email or text or phone call, and I did that, and you still ain't respond, that's my audit sheet, folks. What is you? If I go to your record to see how you voted, that's my audit sheet. I don't care if you voting in the city of Beaumont, Jefferson County Commissions, the state of Texas, or in the federal government. If you are a Texas representative, I can peep your card. So we're not gonna sit here and allow you to just stroke our egos or stroke our eardrum for eargasms. No, I'm sorry. That's not how we gonna operate. That's not what we gonna do no more. The flashpoint for this particular segment is who's responsible for protecting democracy? I know somebody else on this table want to respond to that, but that's for the chat. Who's responsible for protecting democracy? Put one in the chat for politicians, put two in the chat for the people, and put three in the chat for both. And I want you to go an extra bit further to find out or tell us who's slacking on their job. I just want y'all to know. Um, so I'm putting that in the chat right now, as well as the last Know Your Rights from segment 2. Know Your Rights for segment 3 is ballot initiatives can be challenged in court for misleading language. Did we read 17 propositions of the state of Texas with some misleading language? And again, I really want y'all to go to the Secretary of State's website, Texas Secretary of State.gov website, so that you can see the entire ballot breakdown. You can see the entire sample ballot. Go to Jefferson County. Dustin told us last week, go to Jefferson County elections. Their website has the entire sample ballot for Jefferson County. Peep that out. And again, it's 17 no's on the state level and 5 no's from the city on your ballot November 4th. Or in your early times, because early election, if I'm not mistaken, started what? Monday?
Yes,
So that means we what? 2 days in? Today
yes,
Tuesday? Like
yes.
like our elders say? Yeah, today Tuesday. So make sure that you get to the poll and you get to the poll informed. And you get to the poll and you resoundly say no until they allow you to write your own propositions, until until they allow you to create your own community bond propositions. Know your rights. Again, build ballot initiatives can be challenged in court for misleading language. Amendments can be revisited, repealed. Organizations makes it possible. Organization makes it possible. Not the NAACP, but the NAACP and us together makes it possible. Not the Better Business Bureau, but the Better Business Bureau and us makes it possible. Not the city of Beaumont government, but us and the city of Beaumont government makes it possible. Did you not hear the collective? Did you not hear the collaborative? We must repeal that. And you can organize, educate, and publish voter guides. It's not against the law. I don't care if you tell people that's in the majority minority black community to vote black all the time, every time. It's not against the law. I want you to know that's protected, currently protected in the state constitution. Although we see that they're chipping away at it on the state and the federal level. Roundtable question for this particular segment is what's our collective blueprint for freedom if the ballot is where they hide control? And who is starting the bill this week? Dr. Campbell, you have the floor.
The blueprint is simple:
Hmm.
organize, educate, and rewrite the rules ourselves. And we can start that locally through our city halls, our school boards, utility boards. That's where the power hides. So take it back. Teach the game. Break down the ballot, budgets, and bylaws so everyone knows how the system really works.
Yes.
Build coalitions, not silos.
Hmm.
Freedom isn't a solo act, it's a block by block movement. Write our own amendments. If they can rig the rules, so can we. Only ours serve the people. Who are we waiting on? Nobody. We're the
Nobody.
ones. Blueprint. The blueprint is us.
Facts. 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 And we ain't waiting on nobody. And just because you rock our same skin tone don't mean we waiting on you either because we found out that some of y'all never mind. Dustin, you had the floor.
Well, what we got to do is stop playing into the stereotype they have for us,
Mm-hmm.
mostly the reading one. Hell, let's have some voting book clubs. That's right. Put them books down, pick up that voting ballot, and let's discuss it the same way you would that novel
That
about
book.
equals what you reading. Let's go ahead and have that book club on the voting ballot. Sit
Hmm.
down with a group full of people and discuss it piece by piece, line by line, have a good old discussion, have a good discourse about it, figure out what it means to you. How did you read it? How did that feel when you got done? Let's have some open discussion about the ballot instead of, hey, you gonna vote? Yeah, I'm going down there. Let's do more.
I
I think that's great, Dustin.
do too. He said, "Yeah, I'm going down there. Give more meat to it. Yeah, I'm going down there and I'm voting no on every proposition that they got." Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
you absolutely correct. Go ahead, Dr. Campbell.
I've heard people come into the voting place and say, I try to inspire them to take a sample ballot home and read it and study it and try to find out what the measure is actually saying.
Mm-hmm.
And some people will tell me, "Oh, I can read it right there." But like Dustin just said, they really should have a discussion about it with somebody, especially if they don't understand everything. And because the words on the page are not just the words on the page as we
Right.
so eloquently discussed tonight, right?
Yeah, absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Um, my response to the roundtable question is yes. Do what Dustin said. Pick up your sample ballot. Go to uh, your county courthouses. There's sample ballots there. You could probably go to your libraries. Most of the times, there's sample ballots there as well. Um, Pick up a sample ballot. Go online and look at a sample ballot. Go through it line by line, word by word, dot by dot, question mark, everything. I'm gonna say it again. Question mark, everything. Highlight it. If you don't understand it, bring it to somebody so that they can reveal it. I promise you. We start tonight 10 calls, 10 texts, 10 invites to a ballot breakdown at your kitchen table. I'm cooking gumbo, chili, whatever. We don't wait for saviors, y'all. We build it with neighbors that we have existing. Some of us still have the standard. Some of us know the standard of old. and how our elders and ancestors preserved and persevered through these identical times. I will say this: if you don't vote, don't moan, gripe, and complain 6 months down the line when things take hold here in the state of Texas. And then the outfall from the shutdown federal government take hold all at the same time. Um, Again, we're living in a hostile government takeover, and it's not just happening on the federal side. Texas is showing you play by play descriptions that they either want you as their cash cow, or they want you gone. Period. So, like we said today, play accordingly, make wise choices, and don't think for a second that you not going to the ballot box is not going to pass these propositions. You have to go to the poll, you have to select your ballot, you have to go in, slide your little slip in there, hit no 17 times on the state and 5 times on the city. And I keep saying no on the city because y'all didn't give us the opportunity to build our own bond propositions. So, Dustin, Miss Campbell, I thank y'all for being on with me this evening. And to our listeners and our watchers and our viewers, I hope y'all got a lot of information that's going to propel us into this next election. Dr. Campbell, could you give us something for the rest of the week? Dustin, you can follow, and then I'll give my close.
You know what? I'm just going to hammer that thought that Dustin gave a minute ago. If they hide control in the fine print, our job is to read loud and organize louder. Come on, get with it, y'all.
Yes, indeed. Dustin, you had the floor.
Well, word of the day, phrase of the day. Something been bothering me while I'm looking over these internet news clippings. So phrase of the week would be age of consent. Because I don't know if y'all been paying attention, but when we grew up, age of consent was 18. But what y'all probably didn't notice is if you go look at it now, almost every state in the United States, the age of consent is now 16. And what these people out there are trying to get passed on ballots and other things currently is to drop age of consent to 14. But no one sees this as a problem or a red flag, as people like to post up there. To me, this is a major red flag, because to me, that means you have now adults, grown folks, talking to high school freshmen and sophomores. So you think those people are the best ones to make decisions about life? They can't figure out what they want to wear today. They can't figure out if they got homework or not. They can't remember when the teacher told them not to have their phone out. But these are the people you are trying to consent to have relationships with as grown adults. I know you sick bastards run this country, and I really don't care. But this is foolishness, and it needs to be stopped.
Call them out, Dustin.
Mm-hmm.
Call them out, Dustin.
Goddamn.
Dr. Campbell said it as well. They are stealing the youth. They are stealing your children. They are stealing your children in every facet that they possibly can, whether it's on social media, whether it's at the school. I mean, on the street. Come on, y'all. They are literally stealing the children. Crazy. Thanks for that, Dustin. Thanks for that, man. Age of consent. Disgusting. Oh
is.
man. That just gives them the extra weight to be a pedophile. I'm sorry, I just had to say that. I had to get that off my tongue. Family, we read the fine print, just like Dr. Campbell said, just like Dustin said, and found the fingerprints. And Hot Wheels fingers is all over it. Ken Paxton fingers is all over it. The lieutenant governor, his fingers is all over it. The Secretary of State's office, their fingers is all over it. Some of your elected representatives, their fingerprints are all over it. Some of your elected state representatives, their some of your elected state representatives' fingerprints is all over these propositions. Every last one of them. Some of our elected representatives, they fingerprints ain't in it because they had nothing to do with being at the table at all. That means bringing us this information before it even turned to a proposition on the ballot. And I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat, especially here in the state of Texas. Democrats, I'm going to ask that y'all get off y'all ass, and excuse my expression, Dr. Campbell. But every time I turn around, there's propositions on the Republican general elections. Democrats, where's the propositions to bring the people out to the poll? Either you shit or you get off the pot, because we're sick of it at this point. And I know that I don't align with either one of these parties here in the state of Texas. But if I see something, I'ma say something. And Democrats, you are piss poor out here. All y'all. And it's crazy that you have maybe a few individuals like Representative Jones or Representative Crockett who is speaking up for the masses in Texas, and there is no support for these individuals. Where y'all at? Conflict. We've identified the conflict. Power disguises progress. Causes. A playbook written far from our neighborhoods, one that wouldn't even consider us. The consequences of constitutional captivity that outlives the politicians who sold it and the unborn children who have to go through it when they're gone. Make it make sense. The cure is clarity, courage, and collective action. Right now action. Right now action. We cannot wait for November the 4th. Go out to your wherever you can go here in Jefferson County, because you can go wherever you want to in the state of Texas. But I do caution you, because if they're coming for you as an individual, they'll definitely come for your identified polling locations. Close them down, because you and many others aren't voting there. The numbers are low. Stop playing into these games that they play. You can kill a liberator, but you can't kill a liberation. That's what we know. We know that they have killed many liberators here in the state of Texas and in this country. So read your ballot. Bring your notes. Bring your neighbor. Bring your children so that they can see this process themselves. Vote your survival, y'all, and not your standard. Vote your survival and your standard, and not the standard that they give you. Just like Dustin said earlier, not what they perceive you to be. The standard has already been set. Follow it. And if you don't know it, lean up on somebody that does. Follow them until you learn it. As always, stay prayed up, stay prayed up, stay prayed up. Thank y'all for listening and watching. God bless. Good night.